So,
Okay. All
okay.
right. Now. Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is Sri Nitai Gaurangarai. They are from ISKCON Temple of Devotion and Understanding. They are in Seberang Jaya, Penang. Okay, and this is Sri Radha Krishna Kanaya, also from the same temple. In short, we call the temple ISKCON Todu. Okay, praise to the spiritual teachers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vigna Vinasha Narsimha Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tharine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The program is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So there is one question from here, so pay attention, okay? Understanding of Gita. The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord, and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities. Just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual sky, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa or Vyasadev has given a great number of Vedic literatures. So if you recall, Vyasadev is the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. First, he divided the Vedas into 4. So the Veda was originally given by Krishna to Brahma was 1. All right. So first, Veda Vyasadev, he divided the Vedas into 4. Then he explained them in the Puranas. Why? Because not everybody can understand Vedas. So he given the values in story form, value-based stories. Okay. And for less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. So different level of people can read different scriptures, so they will not lose out on the substance of it, all right, of the goal. In the Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita. Then all Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he gave a natural commendation on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, this is story format as well. We must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literatures, just as materialists engage their minds in reading newspapers, magazines, and so many material literatures. We must transfer our reading to these literatures, which are given to us by Vyasadev. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death, which is the goal of life. All right, that is the ultimate exam that we are ought to sit. And we must be always prepared. We cannot have a last minute study, overnight study, burn the midnight oil. We can't do that. Drink coffee and stay awake and study before we die. We don't know when we are going to die. So that's why we have to be prepared at all times. That is the only way suggested by the Lord, and he guarantees the result. There is no doubt. Okay, so in chapter 70, one of the elements that covered was austerity of body, mind, and speech. So one of the austerity of speech is to regularly recite Vedic scriptures. So that is what we are referring here. Okay, so we have to transfer the thinking because we have forgotten our relationship with the Lord, and we, instead of engage in activities related to the Lord, we are engrossed in thinking of material activities. So we need to transfer the thinking from material activities to spiritual activity, which will make it possible for us to remember Krishna. So we are at part 1 of chapter 18, which is towards the tail end already. So next week will be the last. So after this, what are we going to do? We will have to keep reading the Bhagavad Gita. What we have given you is level 1 is a very basic overview. And you will see out of so many verses, we only covered few verses. And then in level 2 also, we couldn't guarantee to give you all the verses. All right, because the subject matter is wide and deep, So again, there are not all the slokas were covered. So we need to continue to read. All right. Okay, so one question from here. Okay, soalan bocor. Okay, so chapter 18. Welcome to chapter 18. Now, actually, at the end, by chapter 17, Lord Krishna has already completed the Bhagavad Gita. So this is a summary of what he has taught. Like at the end of every session, I give you the recap. So like this, Krishna himself is giving recap. Okay, so we will see how he's doing the recap. So basically, these are what contains in this chapter, right? Knowledge and happiness in 3 modes. We will be here today. Later on Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, glories of Bhagavad Gita, this all will come in level part 2. And then Krishna will go to the ultimate conclusion of Gita, which is the unconditional loving surrender unto Lord Krishna, which will free us from all sins, give us complete enlightenment, and to allow us to return to supreme abode. Okay, so how do we connect chapter 17, 18? To emphasize the goal of surrender to Krishna, which is the ultimatum of Bhagavad Gita, the essence of previous chapters is taught in this chapter. Previous chapters is taught in this final chapter. So Krishna will begin his summary by reiterating his prescriptions that Arjuna should renounce the fruit of work, not the work itself. So it will start with renunciation. That is the title of the chapter. The perfection of renunciation. Okay? Remember, renounce the fruit of the work, the result, not the work itself. So that's why, so that way Krishna will review that dutiful detached work brings no reaction. Okay, so that will be the essence of what we will learn today. Also, you can see in level 1, we have only covered this 20 to 22, 37 to 39. So for level 2, we are covering this many. All right, the first section, Krishna will is actually summarizing chapter 1 to 6, karma section. What is work, who is the doer, all that we will cover here. And then the jnana section. Jnana section is from verse 13 to 18. Okay, sorry, the doer, the performer, all will come here. So the 12 is about renunciation. Okay, work and renunciation. And then the third section today will be how the 3 modes control 4 things. The knowledge, the work, the worker, and happiness. So these 4 things will be controlled. We will see how the 3 modes control these 4 things. So that's our main breakdown for today. Okay, 18.1. Amita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 18.1. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichami veditam Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Pritakesi Nisudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, Sannyasa, O killer of the Kesi demon, master of the senses.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Mataji, can I ask you a question from this verse? Amita Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. If you see that the verse, Arjuna has addressed Krishna with few names. Can you identify that names?
Rishikesha.
Okay.
And Madhusudana.
Mana ada Madhu, Mataji?
The one at the back, Nisudana.
Keshi, Mataji.
Oh, Keshi, okay.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thanks. Okay. I think Madhusudana will appear in chapter 1 or chapter 2. The first name Arjuna will call him. Okay, so in this sloka, Arjuna is asking Krishna to distinguish between Tyaga and Sannyasa. So at one glance, you will think that it's the same. Tyaga means renunciating. Sannyasi means he will renunciate. So Tyaga, so Arjuna is asking, what is the goal of renunciation and the goal of the renounced order of life? So what is the difference? Should one work while remaining detached from the fruit of work, which is Nishkama Karma Yoga? Should we work while remaining detached from the fruit? Means you work, but you remain detached from the results. Or should a person renounce everything, all the activities to perform Jnana Yoga? Means you renounce everything, you don't do any work, so therefore you will not have a result, but you just cultivate Jnana Yoga. So which is better, or what is the difference? This is why Arjuna is asking Krishna. All right, so basically Arjuna is inquiring about Tyaga and Sannyasa. So you can see, right? Tyaga means renunciating. Sannyasa means renounced order of life. So there are 4 orders of life. Anybody knows what are the 4 orders of life? Just put in the chat box quickly. If you're not sure of the sequence, then you can just put the 4 orders. Okay, I'll give you a clue. The first one is Brahmacharya. So what's the second? What's the third? What is the fourth? Okay, Brahmacharya, number 1. After Brahmacharya, where the person, okay, Brahmacharya means a person, once he's born and he's, he enters the school, he will go to a, ashram under guru guidance. He learns the Vedic scriptures, all the things, the Vedic activities and everything. So after that, after he attains a certain age, he will get married. And once he gets married, he will enter household life. And that is what you can see Saras Mataji, Ati Sundari Mataji all has put that. It's called Grihastha Ashram. Okay. Yeah. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Mataji got this one is correct. Okay, yes. All of you are correct. So after some time, after he's reasonably old, or when the children are, adequately, matured and have the ability to take care of the mother and the children. So this person, the leader of the house, he leaves the house, he goes in spiritual quest on path of self-realization. He will be traveling, Vanaprastha. He will go enter the Vanaprastha ashram. So Vanaprastha ashram means he will go place to place in the process of acquiring self-realization. And then later, when he goes through all these processes, he will come to a stage where he can take up sannyasa. Sannyasa ashram, where he renounces everything and he stays one place. Okay, or actually it is mentioned that a sannyasi wouldn't stay in a place more than 3 days. So which means he will not have any possession with him. He has renounced everything, all the activities he has renounced, except the activity of devotional service. So basically sannyasas, they travel place to place for the preaching purpose. Okay, so these are the 4 ashrams. So Arjuna is asking, what is the difference? Okay, so I just explained to you where the sannyasa comes. Sannyasa generally is for male, Mataji, because women are always to be protected. So it's pretty dangerous for women to travel. In a very material sense as well, it's not safe for them to be outside of the protection of either the father or the husband or the children. Okay, so it's basically for male. Okay, all right, welcome, Mataji. Okay, so generally, the Bhagavad Gita says the purpose of life is towards renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position. Okay, first is renunciation. Renunciation means renunciation of results, not renunciation of the activity. And then to attain the transcendental position above the 3 modes of material nature, to transcend these 3 modes. So basically, these are the 2 main goal. All right. So Arjuna wants to clarify the 2 distinct subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, namely the renunciation and the renounced order of life, Tyaga, Sannyasa. So that's why he's asking the meaning of these 2 words. Okay, so that's one point. The second point, you can see how Arjuna addressed Krishna. He used 2 names. All right. So the first name I would like to talk about is Rishikesha. Rishikesha means master of all senses. So why Arjuna sometimes chooses certain words to address Krishna is because it has meaning. All right. As the master of all senses, Krishna is there to always help us to attain mental serenity. All right. The idea to control the senses is to have a peaceful mind. So therefore, Arjuna is asking Krishna to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. So that is why he's calling Krishna as Rishikesha. So the next name is Keshi Nisudana. Okay, Nisudana means slayer or killer or destroyer. Keshi is a name. Anybody wants to guess what is the Keshi is a name, one of the name of one of the demons that Krishna killed. So you all would have heard Putana. What else? What else? Like Hiranyakashipu, all these asuras, right? So anybody wants to guess what is Keshi? Okay, donkey monster is Denuka. Good try, Mataji. Yeah, okay, so it is a horse. Okay, so in one of the Krishna stories, Krishna will slay a horse demon. So the demon's name is Keshi. Right, so how he is addressing Krishna in the sense of the slayer of demon of doubts. Okay, so Arjuna asks Krishna to give a summary in such a way that Arjuna will remain equipoised, yet he has some doubts. All right, and doubts are always, it is said that it is always compared to demons. So he therefore addresses Krishna as Keshi Nisudana. And this demon horse is very formidable. It is said that it is a very formidable demon. So, but it was killed by the Lord. So now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. All right, so those are the 2 points. Arjuna is asking the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa. And then he's addressing Krishna using these 2 names, indicating what he actually is looking for, right? All right, these are the 2 names, Rishikesha and Nisudana. Keshi Nisudana actually. So if you're looking for where is this term coming from, so it's in the sloka. Well, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna used so many names. So this is how the Acharyas explained. All right, so and then there is another compilation of book. Is in a book format, in a PDF. If you want, I can give you. So some these are the demons that represent certain anarthas in us, certain qualities. So when Krishna kills this demon, so what is he actually destroying in us? So every demon has their story, I mean the significance of it. So in this case, Keshi is the demon of doubts. All right, okay, 18.2, Ajita Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 18.2, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam saniyasam kavavyo vidho sarva karma palatyagam prahustyagam vichasana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyasa. And giving the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, the performance of activities for results has to be given up. Okay, but this is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. So here Krishna begins to quote or to cite that when we say here, what learned men. So he always quotes these kind of things, right? Great sages have understood this truth. And then here, what great learned men call, like this, Krishna is cites learned people in whenever he puts forth some points. All right, and he says that Tyaga means to renounce the results of all activities. Sorry, sannyasa. This is sannyasa, right? To renounce the activities that are based on material desire. Means if you are performing an activity in return of a fruitive activity, that kind of activities Krishna wants you to renounce. All right, to renounce the activity that are based on material desire, which implies to renounce fruits and also and the work itself. Okay, all right, sannyasa means completely renounce. You renounce the fruit, you renounce the activity, so you renounce, totally renounce. All right, and then tyaga. Tyaga means to renounce the results of all the activities. So now you can see, not everybody can do this. We can't be here, but everybody can do this. This is more practical. Okay, so therefore the performance of activities for results have to be given up. But the activity that can give result to our Krishna consciousness, that we should not give up. Okay, so we can give up, we can perform our duties, but we can give up the results. Then that is the tyaga. That one we can do. Okay, so okay, yeah, we move on. Yeah, 18.5, Aparamataji.
Bhagavad Gita 18.5. Yajnadana tapa karma natyajyam karyam eva tata yajnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manisinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purifies even the great souls.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So you see, earlier Krishna said, for a person who has renounced everything, what is the nature of his life? He renounces activities, he renounces the fruit of the activities. But here Krishna says, there are certain things that you should not give up. Even by the great souls, do not do that. I mean, they continue to do these activities because it purifies them. Okay, so what is that? There are three, right? Please remember: sacrifice, charity, and penance. Okay, so try to remember that. These three activities, no matter how high you go, you need to perform these three: sacrifice, charity, and penance. And you must remember, these three items, they can fall under three modes. They can go under goodness, they can go under passion, they can go under ignorance, and we want to be careful about that. Okay, goodness, sacrifice, charity, and penance under the mode of goodness is encouraged, because under passion, there is a hope for pride, hope for something in return. So you remember all this? Is everything from the chapter 17 coming back to you? I hope it comes back to you now. Okay, so I hope you can relate. So this is basically summary. That's why you should be able to relate that. Okay, so Krishna says, this must be performed. They must be performed. Why? Sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great soul. So if you see, even the great souls in the stories, like kings and self-realized king, they also do this kind of things: charity, sacrifice. Okay. So it is mentioned that all prescribed sacrifices are meant for to achieve the Supreme Lord. So it should be dovetailed in such a way that the goal should be to reach the Supreme Lord. Okay, so the Bhagavan says that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Okay, remember this one also we covered last week, austerity of mind. Can somebody tell me what strikes you when we say austerity of mind? Something. I already given you the clue, the welfare. Can somebody tell me? Can somebody recall? If you want to refer your Bhagavad Gita, also fine, but I'm sure it will take time for you to refer. So it's good if you can recall what we learned about austerity of mind. Like austerity of speech is speaking, the speech filter, is it truthful? Is it beneficial? Is it agitating? So that is austerity of speech. What is austerity of mind? What are we to think about? All right, think good things. Apa lagi? With relation to the welfare. Okay. Not hitting the bull's eye, Mataji. Simplicity. Okay. Not wrong, not wrong, not wrong. I just want you to hit that point, you know. What are we to always think about? This one everybody loves, especially now everybody is doing that during this pandemic. What everybody is doing now? Okay, Kajai Mataji, you are there. Generous and kind to okay, Prema Mataji, you are there. I cannot recall, is it? We must always think of doing good to others. We must always think about welfare of others. Service to humankind. Yes. So can you see how is it relatable? Chapter 17, chapter 18. And isn't that what we also want to do naturally? We always want to think of doing good to others. So that is austerity of mind. It's very easy to be envious or very critical of somebody. But because I read this somewhere, I just want to share. Being judgmental is easy because understanding requires heart, requires time or something like that. That means it says that it's easier to criticize somebody than it is to understand somebody. So like that, it is austerity, isn't it, in that sense, to think of doing good things to others. 1716. Thank you, Mataji. Let's read that. Would you like to read that, Mataji, the translation? Is it 16?
Is it 16? That's what I'm also double checking. 16 or
maybe it was in my explanation in the class. All right. Yeah, I think it was more of an explanation I gave in the class. To think of...
Correct, Mataji, is 16 because it says here, and satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
I think it's more of an explanation that I gave in the class, that we are to think doing good things to others and always think about welfare to others. Okay, so yeah, so that is explanation. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so in 18.6, Krishna will continue to say this. All right, all these activities should be performed as a matter of duty, okay, and without any expectation of results. So you do this. So in that way, these activities will be falling under the mode of goodness, not in passion or ignorance. Okay, so Krishna is indicating that this kind of activity should not be given up, whatever is meant for human welfare. Okay, and charity is for purification of the heart. All right, if charity is given to a very suitable person, as described previously, all right, it leads one to advanced spiritual life. Okay, so always do in the mode of goodness, not expecting anything in return, name, fame, glory. So we don't want all that. So in Tamil we say, the right hand gives, the left hand doesn't know, or something like that, right? Okay. So these are the three things, Matajis. Please remember: sacrifice, charity, and penance. So when I say these few times, you all know already lah. Why? Okay, it purifies even the great souls. Okay. Because I'm trying for you not to refer to the book when you answer the question. So try to do with your memory first, and then if you get anything like error, then you can refer and then do again. All right. Because anyway, these are all practical things. We can always share to others as well. All right. Okay. We are to read from the Bhagavad Gita, your own Bhagavad Gita, right? Kanti Mataji, are you ready? Do you have your Gita with you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Mataji, you will read the translation from point 7 to point 9, non-stop. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. 18.7, prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties has troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So if you can see, the 7 to 9, it goes from ignorance, passion, and goodness. So it's not the other way, okay? So under activity, renunciation in the mode of ignorance, okay? It is meant to say that one should never renounce his prescribed duties. Okay, so for example, a sannyasi means he should renounce all the activities, right? Okay, so but the sannyasi cannot say, oh, I'm not supposed to cook for my own satisfaction. Oh, I cannot get married. Okay, yes, okay, a sannyasi cannot cook for his own satisfaction, and he, of course, a person in the sannyasi ashram is not, to get married. Okay, however, if that activity is useful in the spiritual advancement of his subordinates, then he can do that. Okay, like a sannyasi can perform, like Prabhupada, he performed marriage ceremony. He performed marriage ceremony for the disciples, for them to build a Krishna conscious family together. So in that way, there is an involvement at his sannyas level. All right, so cannot say, oh, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot perform this. No, that's for a higher cause, he can do that. And then as for the cooking, a sannyasi is not expected to cook for himself, but he can cook as much as he can to serve the deity or the Lord. So that one can be done. Okay, so otherwise it is a renunciation in the mode of ignorance, because he is illusioned, all right, giving up his prescribed duties due to his illusion. All right, and then Mataji read about passion. Okay, one who is in Krishna consciousness should not give up earning money out of fear that he is performing fruitive activities. Oh, I shouldn't go to work, it's all about money, I want to renounce this, I shouldn't do that. It's not that. Okay, so if by working, okay, why? If by working he can engage that money in his spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, all right, and so that is a good renunciation. That is good. You don't have to renounce that activity. You're just renouncing the result. You're engaging the result in raising a devotee family. So that can be done. Okay, so if you can, you cannot think out of fear. You cannot renounce out of fear. Okay, look at this person. Oh, I'm sick, I don't want to do my work. So that is not a good renunciation. Okay, and then renunciation in goodness. Okay, so prescribed duties must be performed with this mentality. Mataji, you raised hand. Do you have question? Ajita Mataji? Because I got the notification. Okay, so one should act without attachment for the result. He should be disassociated from the modes of work. Okay, how you see this person is working? So he's there, he's doing the work that is given to him, and he's not going to get so much affected with the condition at work or people around him. He's not going to get so much attached to them. He's there just to do his duty. Okay, once my duty is done, then I'm done, like that. And then he renounces all the attachment to the fruit. So in that sense, that will be renunciation in the mode of goodness. Okay, when one simply works for Krishna, and when he gives up the result for Krishna, then he is acting transcendentally. Okay, no problem, Mataji. Okay, so that is renunciation. So remember, our third category, third section for the day is the 4 activities that is dictated by the 3 modes of nature. So we have renunciation, we have knowledge, we have renunciation. That's 4, right? Renunciation, knowledge, worker, and happiness. Okay, 1812. Chandra Prabha Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 18:12. Anishtamishtam mishram cha trividam karmana palam Bhavatiya tyagidam pretya natu sannyasinam
Pachit.
kvachit. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So there are 2 points here Krishna is showing. The difference between those who are renounced and those who are not renounced and those who are renounced. Okay, those who are not renounced, they are subjected to the threefold fruits of action, which is desirable, undesirable, and mixed. You may get fruits that you desire, you may get the fruits that you don't desire, and you may get a mix of both. And these reactions will go on after death. So if you have learned accounting, accrue means carry forward, right? That's carry forward. So it will be carried forward even after death. Okay, in contradiction to that, for those who are in renounced order of life, they do not have the issue of having a result to enjoy, either to suffer or to enjoy. What is this term called? Question again. What is that called? Who can tell me? When you do an activity, you do not have a reaction to suffer or to enjoy. Long time didn't mention that term. I hope you all remember. Yes. Betul, Mataji. Siapa lagi? Correct. Akarma. What is the bad karma called? Very good. Very sharp. Okay. All right. So to recap this, although various good and bad reaction, good and bad reaction result from, they can, even religious activities, they can, it may give you good and bad like consequences or reaction, but when you perform it without desire for these fruits, then you're not subjected to them. Okay, so even when you perform a religious activity or spiritual activity, if your mind is attached to the result, then you will have reactions as well. All right, but when we perform these activities without attachment to these results, then whatever happens after that, the consequences will not, you will not be subjected to them. Okay, so that way he will become liberated from all threefold reactions. What are those? Desirable, something that you like; undesirable, something that you don't like; or mixed. Mix, you can have both. So remember this as well. Okay, so again, a person who is attached to the activities or the result of the activities, he has to suffer or enjoy the threefold reactions of material existence. Okay, and person who is detached, he does not have to suffer or enjoy the results of the threefold reactions. Remember these three. Okay, so point 2 is the Krishna conscious person, a spiritual person who is always renouncing the result, is always liberated, because he's always mindful about his relationship with Krishna. Okay, so therefore he will fall here. There is no result to suffer or enjoy. Karma. Okay, so we move on to the 13 to 14. Indrani Mataji. Indrani Mataji, I can't see your name. Okay, Mataji is not here. Okay, I'll just read the translation, yeah. O mighty arm Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action, which means before you complete an action, when you start to do an action, to act, and then when you complete the action, there are 5 things involved in that process. So we will see, Krishna will say now learn of this from me. He's going to list out what are those 5 things that is involved in performing an action. the place of action, the body, the kshetra, right? The performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, your efforts and all that, and ultimately the super soul. You have to have this, and us, all right, and the various senses and many different kind of endeavor, and ultimately it has to be sanctioned by the super soul, and then the action is deemed complete. Okay, so Krishna is more precisely is explaining the consciousness of one not bound by fruits of his action. This one Krishna refers to Vedanta Sutra. So he's actually describing the 5 factors as the responsible causes for accomplishment of any kind of action, be it right or wrong. Okay, so yeah, again, the body, Adhistan, the term here used is Adhistan, and then Karta. Karta is here, the doer. Okay, this is the consciousness reflected in the false ego. I am the doer. I'm doing everything. Everything is happening is because of me. So this is us, performer, doer. Okay, so it is actually referring to the soul because he is the one acting to bring out the result of the activity. Okay, then Karanam. Karanam is the senses, instruments of action. You're using the senses to do working senses to acquire knowledge, all this engagement in the activities. Okay, that. And then Sesta. Sesta is the endeavor, the effort. Okay, as long there is a life air in the body, so we can put in effort. Okay, so you understand, right? Body, remember, body, performer, the various senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. All right, so this is Daivam. Daivam means super soul. He is the super cause, the cause of the causes. Okay, all our activities depend on the will of the super soul. So these are the 5 causes for all activities. And for success in any activity, these 5 causes should come together. So we cannot say, I did it, hey, I did it, I performed it. So it's not like that. Okay. Okay, move to, oh yeah, this is a continuation. So this one to put in a chart form. All right, so the action is caused by the body, the various senses, the different kinds of endeavor, the performer, the ultimate control by the super soul. Okay, so there is a short story here. One time Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, you know, I have 100 sons, and to get even one son, it requires a lot of piety. And I have acquired that much of piety to get hundreds of sons. Means I have complete piety. I'm so pious. All right. Okay, Krishna said, like that. And then, but you made me blind. I cannot see my sons. So why did you do this to me? Yeah. So Krishna replies. A flashback of a story. Krishna gives a story where there are 50 births ago. Right, 50 births ago, this Dhritarashtra, he actually threw a burning something to just for fun. He threw something burning to a nest of hundreds of young birds. All right, so out of fun, he was a hunter. Yeah, he was a hunter 50 births ago. So when he did that, a lot of birds died, and some birds who escaped became blind because of the scorching heat of the fire. So there was a curse on him that he will attain 100 sons, but he will be blind. But to gather that much of piety to get 100 sons, it took him that many births, right? Close to about 50 births. It's either 48 or 49 or 50 births. He had to take that many births to accumulate that much of piety to get 100 sons. And despite getting 100 sons, he was made blind. So which means the Lord knows what we have been doing in our life. He follows us in every life. So he keeps count what we do. All right. So that's why Dhritarashtra asked why I was not punished in the same life. Why I was not punished in the next life. Why it had to wait until I get 50 births. right? So that's why Krishna say your karma had to wait for an opportune time for 50 births. So during which time you could earn and accumulate enough pious deeds to attain the merit of being born a king, all right, and have 100 sons in one lifetime. Okay, so all this has to be sanctioned. With all these things, the sanction has to come from the super soul. Okay, all right. So sometimes when we see things going so well, we say that it's because of us, and things don't go well, we say, oh, it's because of God. So it's all together, all right? One who thinks himself the only doer. One who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So this is a continuation, BG 1816. Having children, generally good karma, Mataji. I have 2 girls, so I don't have sons, so I don't know. Is it that I don't have piety? But my Guru Maharaj say, it's okay, you have 1 Lakshmi, 1 Saraswati. He said like that. So when one is engaged in service to the Lord, whether it's a boy or girl, it doesn't matter, right? They are souls, right? Okay, 1818. Jaimani Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita, verse 18.18. Janam Jayam Parichnata Trividha Karma Chodana Karanam Karma Kartiti Trividha Karma Sangsaraha. Translation: knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So there was a comment here. No kids also doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, everything happens for a reason, isn't it? Okay, yeah, I agree with that. The impetus, inspiration, constituents of action. So we are still at the action. What constitutes of this action? Why action happens? Okay, very technical, right? Because we are in Jnana Yoga section. Okay, so Krishna is splitting 2 things here. The 3 factors that motivate your action, and 3 things that comprise the action comprised of the 3 factors. Okay, knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. These are impetus for our work. Impetus means something to start off, right? Is that a better way to say impetus? Something for me is something to start off. Okay, the constituents of work is the senses. The senses are the instruments of the work, like you need the equipments, all that, right? So for us, the senses are our equipments. And then the work itself and the worker, the one who performs it. Okay, so any work done by any human being has these elements. These 6 elements generally categorized into 2. Okay, 3 that motivate the action, 3 that becomes other 3 constituents of action. Okay, so we'll go this slowly, all right? So first, one has to he has to undergo okay, you can relate this something that you recently did, okay, something what actually drove you to do this, so you can relate like that. First, one has to undergo the psychological process of thinking. First, you want to think about it, and then you want to feel about it, and then you want to be willing to do about it, all right? And that is called impetus, right? You want to do it, you start thinking about it, you want to do it, and then you're willing to do it. So that is impetus. And then with that impetus, you want to draw inspiration from somewhere. Okay, like in spiritual activity, we will draw the inspiration from scriptures or the instruction of spiritual master. So you have the impetus and then you have inspiration. So when you have the inspiration and you have us, the worker, all right, then the actual activity takes place step by step with the help of the senses, right? The senses, all right, which includes the mind, right? The mind is the center of all the senses. So the sum total of all these constituents of an activity is called the accumulation of work. So when all this come together, then you perform a work. All right, so I put it in another word, a different word is that action is motivated by knower knowing the known. Okay, in other words, activity is motivated by a person perceiving a desirable object or goal. So you want to, you know that you're going to achieve that goal and you want to do it, you're willing to do it. Okay, you are motivated with that. Okay, whatever that motivates the action. Okay, being thus inspired, then you carry out the action with the help of the senses, with effort. All right, and the performer. The sense comes with that effort, and then the doer. So this way Krishna explains 3 factors that motivate the action: knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower, and 3 factors that constituents of action: senses, work, and the doer. Okay, so these are how the concepts are explained. Okay, so inspiration is where before you act, there is some impetus which is called inspiration. It pushes you. Okay, and then you work. Okay, and then you have guidance from Guru and Sastra. Finally, the accumulation of work. That is the sum total of all constituents of an activity. Okay, so next we are going to knowledge. So earlier we saw the 3 modes of renunciation. Now we are looking at 3 modes of knowledge. So even knowledge also got 3 modes. We will see what is that. While Mataji reads, we can try to relate with the points here. Yeah, Jagadish Mataji.
I just read this, isn't it, Mataji?
No, you read from your Bhagavad Gita, only the translation from 20 to 22.
Okay.
You have?
Yeah, I have. So it's text 20.
21, 22.
Yeah.
Just the translation will do, Mataji.
Okay.
Don't know. Yeah.
Text 20. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. 21. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body, there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. 22. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work has the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness.
Okay, so another word for darkness is ignorance. Okay, so even knowledge can fall under 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, so the first point is a person who has knowledge in the mode of goodness, he views everybody as one undivided spiritual nature. Okay, now question. Can anybody recall any Bhagavad Gita verse or any content anywhere that says how a person views everybody equally? Whether it's in a Sanskrit verse or English translation, you always talk about super soul, Paramatma. Can you relate anything to this? Get your thinking hat on. Anybody, Matajis? What do you think about knowledge in the mode of goodness, and then one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, and then you see the picture here, some lights here. Anybody would like to try? Anyone? There is a very famous verse actually, but let's see. Yes, Mataji. Would you like to tell the translation? Anybody can recall the translation for this? Can you see the last line Mataji posted in the chat box? Pandita Sama Darshina. Can you recall? Anybody other than Jayanti Mataji? Anybody would like to try? What is Pandita? What is Sama Darshina? Hey, thank you, Kajai Mataji. Yes. He sees everybody as equal. So that is the knowledge in the mode of goodness. So what kind of knowledge that we have? The knowledge that everybody is equal, because we are all soul, a spirit, um, a spirit soul. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so we are the soul, and super soul resides in everybody's heart. That's why we are expected to view everybody equally. So that verse shows that a learned person view a tiger or a brahmana or a dog or dog eater as equal. Okay, so that is the idea. That is what Krishna is teaching us. Okay, so all forms are to be seen as spiritual beings. So remember this verse, it's very important, because we know sometimes we have this controversial topic of the fork, the caste and everything. So you have to put your foot down, and the Bhagavad Gita says everybody are to be seen as equal. Vidya Vinaya Sampane. Or you can just remember the last line, Pandita Sama Darshina. Okay, so that is the teaching. Yeah, what chapter is this? It's chapter 4, I think. Okay, maybe Mataji can put in. Okay. Okay, next is knowledge in the mode of passion. Okay, so this one is pretty opposite to what we saw here. He sees everybody based on some bodily characteristics, features. He makes distinction. So basically, a person who has the knowledge in the mode of passion, he makes distinction among different people. All right, Pandita Samadarshina means he's not only viewing all the human being as same, he's actually viewing human being and animal also same. It's not only among the human species, it's between species, among species. So it's beyond that as well. Okay, here what we are doing, we are distinguishing among the humans, so that is not encouraged. So that is in the mode of passion. Okay, so if you can see, some have that idea of, oh, only humans have a soul, animals do not have soul, so we can carry out the killing. So that means that is knowledge in the mode of passion. Yeah, distinction, that's right, Mataji. Yes, distinction means we should not make distinction based on race or gender, or even among the human, you cannot make distinction. And Vidya Vinaya Sampane is talking about you are not to make distinction between species, animal or human. You are to be treating them equal. Okay, otherwise the knowledge falls under the mode of passion. Okay, now knowledge in the mode of ignorance. A person who is attached to one kind of work and they have no knowledge of truth. So this is pretty obvious, like straightforward. The knowledge is in the mode of ignorance, in the darkness. The person is in the darkness. Okay, and this is generally a knowledge of common man, that he's limited to the knowledge of the body, like I am the body. This is the knowledge in the mode of ignorance. Okay, because he has not or does not or refuse to seek the guidance of any authorities or scriptural injunctions or guru, that in that sense. Okay, for him the God is money, and any knowledge he has, he will apply it in the satisfaction of bodily demands. So basically he has no connection with absolute truth. Okay, like normal animals, right? They don't seek, they don't go on spiritual quest. Non-bhumi putra, yeah lah, Mataji. Yes, like the virus. Yeah, that's on point. And then, I was having some discussion with Jai Sitarani Mataji, and sometimes we cannot be like puffed up thinking, oh, we are devotees, then the virus will not affect us. No, it's not true, right? Right. Very apt, Mataji, the discussion. Okay, so yeah, goodness, passion, ignorance. So understand, yeah? Okay. So you try to relate whatever we have learned in the past. So it will really be, it will be really meaningful. And that will I deem as success of my classes. Okay, because not a lot we have written in Bhagavad Gita, but it is a lot of things are explained by the Acharya, and that is the effort that we are putting in to bring the information to you. Okay, otherwise anybody can stay home and read Bhagavad Gita, but to understand, that is why we are here, all right, to give that explanation behind that. All right, so this is the confidential knowledge, is that we are spirit souls. Not everybody can accept that. You will think, oh, of course we have soul inside, but not everybody accept that. Okay, let's go to the next category under the three modes of material nature. Jai Sitani Mataji, you can read from your book, and we will follow what Mataji is reading on the table. Mataji, is your audio, what is that? Your mic okay? Or do you want me to read it? Jai Sitarani Mataji, can you hear us? You're not audible, Mataji. Oh, okay, okay. 23 to 25. Okay, 23. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. Okay. But this is text 24. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego means that I'm the doer and everything, that's false ego, is called action in the mode of passion. Last one, 25. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Okay, these are actions, work or actions, karma. Okay, so action that is regulated by sastras means like a regulated occupational duties, our prescribed duties. These are prescribed based on different orders of life. Okay, so this kind of things has to be performed without attachment. All right, and you have to perform it as the matter of duty without love or hatred and not desiring for the fruitive result. So that will be action or work under the mode of goodness. Okay, all right, so in purport, Prabhupada actually relates this mode of goodness to Krishna consciousness. So it's pretty close, it's very close. Okay, and then in 24, under this passion, action with great effort, seeking to gratify his desires, name, fame, and glory. So all these come here. So this is under the work done under the mode of passion. So this one pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so we are sometimes we repeat this information. So we remember why? Because when we want to perform an activity, we want to analyze ourselves. Am I doing in the mode of goodness or passion or ignorance? So if you keep doing this as a matter of practice, then you will see that you will elevate yourself to the mode of goodness. It will become a practice. I know it's pretty normal. Sometimes when somebody helps and they seek some thanks, this kind of thing. So, I mean, we might also have that. So we can try to consciously overcome that. So, okay, we are working under these three modes. And the idea is, as a human being, we have the power or the means or the ability to transcend this one by one. We can do that. So we can consciously do that. Okay. So don't ever give up saying that, oh, this is my nature, this is how I am. No, we can do that. All right. And then the karma, the act in the mode of ignorance is basically defiant, not obedient to the scriptures or scriptural injunctions, without thinking of our future bondage. I will live as I want. I don't care. Life is meant to be lived. I live only once. I die only once. So it's not that, right? So that is knowledge in the illusion. And therefore you will act in the mode of, knowledge in ignorance. And therefore you will act in the mode of ignorance. All right, so we want to be careful about that. And then causing harm, being violent and causing harm to others is also action in ignorance. Okay, move on to the next one, worker. So earlier was work, now worker. Okay, 26. Kajai Mataji. Just the translation, Mataji.
Good evening, Mataji.
Good evening.
18.26. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. 27. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring only to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. 28. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
Very good. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Macam news reader. Ya, ini orang podcast ni. Nice, Mataji. Right. Okay. So everything has been given here. So there's nothing much to elaborate. So maybe I can just repeat a little bit only. Okay. Cikgu. Okay, so a worker in the mode of goodness, almost similar to one who does transcendental activities. Remember what Prabhupada mentioned is pretty much similar. So only difference is goodness and pure goodness. So but it's similar. Goodness is our airport. Remember, we want to go to New York and we want to stay at the airport. So it's very easy to go to New York from the airport. Sekarang tak boleh lah. Okay, sabar ya. Okay, so this kind of person, they will perform their duty without associating themselves with the modes of material nature. They always want to transcend it. And then they perform, you relate this to yourself, right? Because we are the worker here, karta. We want to work with great determination and enthusiasm without wavering in success or failure. Okay? So the only worry a person might have at this, juncture is, the only worry is to finish the work in time as required. That's all. Okay, so that one is to perform our duty. Okay, and then how does a worker in passion behaves? He is attached to work and the fruits of work because he wants to enjoy those fruits, and then he becomes greedy. Okay, so this kind of person, people always envious, therefore they are impure, and they are always moved by joy and sorrow. Sekejap happy, sekejap sad. I realized that at any point decision making confused using the three modes help greatly in our everyday life as well. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so these people and the worker in the mode of passion, they are not so much worried about elevating their life spiritually. All they want is to make advancements so they can have better material comfort. So this is their motivation. All right, so let's look at worker in ignorance. Well, we have been repeating this term, right? They do not work, they do not obey the injunction of the scriptures. They are basically materialistic, obstinate. They cheat, right? They cheat and they're expert in insulting others. So they are always lazy, and because they don't do good things, they are always morose and they always procrastinate. Anything which can be done in an hour, probably they drag for years. So basically they do not do work properly. So this is worker in the mode of ignorance. So if you are a boss, then tomorrow Monday, right? Probably you want to analyze this stuff. Is he in the goodness, passion, or ignorance? Okay, so and do arrange something for them to elevate that. Okay, you know what is the symptoms if a person is under this, what can be done for them. All right. What is so? All right. Yeah, so like there are a lot of courses available, so you can identify the weakness of your staff or people around you and engage them. If a person is always passionate, then you want to recommend courses like mental Emotional intelligence, EI, emotional intelligence. Yeah, and then if a person's always rushing into decision, you may want to recommend them critical thinking course, Shiva. So like this, Mataji, this is my personal opinion to you. How you can use this information in your daily life. So in that way, you are a practitioner of Bhagavad Gita. You are not just a learner. Bhagavad Gita is meant to be learned and practiced. All right, that is the success of your Gita Gyan study. Okay, because I'm also doing that. I know sometimes I am in the passion, so I have to take up some courses to train my mind. This is all training the mind. Okay, all right. The last section under the three modes is happiness. Let's hear from Yashoda Mai Mataji. Mataji, you're there.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. How was your Tulsi class that day? I wanted to wish you all the best that day. Yashoda Mai Mataji, for information, she is joining some Chinese speakers to give classes for Chinese speaking devotees. Also have newcomers, Mataji?
Actually, I'm the one who learned.
But you are also sharing, right? You share, right?
I'm not new devotee. They are already more than 10 years devotee.
Yes, yes.
PK Prabhu that time.
Oh, okay. So you have chances to speak also, right? In Mandarin, is it?
No, I speak I speak English because some of them Chinese, but they don't know. They are not understand.
Oh, so you share in English. Wow, that's good. I think one day you can join venture with me.
After that, I need to translate to Cantonese.
Oh, Cantonese. So you do bilingual.
Some they do not understand Chinese. Some they not understand English.
Oh, so you have to be, yeah, I think you can manage both language. Boleh. In fact, Malay also you can throw in inside.
Three language, Cantonese, Mandarin also can.
Ah, that's nice, Mataji. So I wish you all the best for your upcoming sessions as well, Mataji.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Mataji, you can carry on. Just the English.
Okay. 37. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end it just like nectar, and which awaken one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. 38. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses, which they are objects and which appear like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. 39. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of nature of ignorance.
Ignorance. Okay, thank you, Mataji. So text 37 to 39 talk about happiness in different modes of nature. Okay, happiness in the goodness. In the beginning, it will be like poison, but in the end, it's a nectar. All right, why? Because to regulate the senses, all these austerities, it involves some reasonable amount of rules and regulations. This is meant to control the mind and senses. So it will appear like poison. However, the result will be, it's transcendental. You will see how you advance spiritually, how your self will change. Probably after this Gita Gyan, the way you look at problems could be different. How you look at people will be different. You don't see them as problematic, but you will try to improve that. Okay, so the result of this is awaken one to self-realization. So what kind of thing it may appear like poison in the beginning? It's like waking up early in the morning. Sleeping early is also a bit bitter for some. All right, and then cooking and offering to Krishna, all this some may find is very troublesome or very very routine. All right, but later on you will see how nectarian these activities are. If you used to cook and offer, even if you cook at home and eat, and then suddenly when you go outside, suddenly you don't enjoy the food, right? Because you're so used to eat your own food, or you used to eat the prasad, things like that. All right, so happiness in the mode of passion is because of too much of sense enjoyment, the contact of senses with the object of senses. Right, so initially it will be nectarian in the first, but later it will become poison. All right, for example, young woman meets young man and everything like so exciting. But if it's not, the activities are not regulated, it will end up in miseries. All right, separations or abortions or lamentation or anything. All right, same goes to drinking and hangover or gambling and losses. So all these are happiness in the mode of passion, which does not last long or does not last, or it will, the worst is, end up giving us miseries and distress and stress, all that. So all this also we can apply in our life, or we to advise others. Okay, so basically if you're a counselor or something, you can derive a lot of things from Bhagavad Gita and to give to tailor make solutions for people, for your clients. Okay, and happiness in the mode of ignorance. Okay, it comes from excessive sleep, laziness. Okay, it binds one to it blinds a person is blind to self-realization, right? And then he is delusional from beginning to end. Okay, so sleep, laziness, and illusion, they have no idea how to act, how not to act. So basically they are not worried of anything. They continue to take drugs or weeds or sleep. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so there's difference between passion and ignorance. Okay, in the mode of passion, there might be some kind of happiness in the beginning, and then at the end only you'll have the distress. But for ignorance, it's distress from the beginning until the end. Okay, like you are perpetually in the illusion when you are under the influence of drugs, right? That's an example. Okay. So we can, from here we can see how people are feeling happy under the three modes. The way you feel happy can be different from another person feeling happy. Then you can see what kind of mode this person is. Is he feeling happy in the mode of goodness, in the passion, or ignorance? So if you analyze that, then you will know what is the effect of being happy in these three modes, and you want to increase what is good and decrease what is not good. Oh yes, Mataji, remember in chapter 13 or 14, it was, remember the chart where you have the three primary colors? So I made a point that nobody can have only one mode. There's always a mixture. It's just that the difference between one to another is, for myself, probably I have passion is more compared to you. Maybe you have more goodness, like that. So there's always a mixture, all different color mixed. So you just go to chapter 13 or 14, you will see the color chart. You mix at this and this, you'll get this color. So it's more of what mode is dominant in us. So that is why it's important when you know all these characteristics and the impacts. So we want to make some amendments to our life. Okay. All right, welcome, Mataji. So I think we are towards the end already. So we have a story here. So allow me to the Baba's time. Because we have last 2 days, so I hope you can tolerate some extension if the story goes beyond 9 o'clock. Okay, so this is the story. Okay, recently we had Radha Yatra. Okay, I will do the recap later for today's chapter. Okay, so this is the story of Jagannath. If you know, the original Jagannath was installed in Jagannath Puri, which is in Orissa. Okay, Orissa or Odisha. Okay, if you know the type of dance that comes from Orissa, it's Odissi. If you all saw Jai Sitarani Mataji's daughter dance the other day, Shivani, yeah, so the dance comes from this place. All right, so it is a tradition there in Orissa, okay, that every time before Radha Yatra or before the chariot moves, it is a tradition of the king to sweep the road. He will sweep the road. Okay, so that is a tradition, no matter what level is the king, that is a tradition. All right. Okay, so one day is so there are so many versions. At least I saw 2-3 versions, but generally you can catch the point of the story, right? So this king is Saluva Narsimha Deva Raya. So he is a king. He was a king of Kanchi, South India. And this is King Purushottama Deva in Orissa. So you have Jagannath here, right? Here he was a Ganesha Bhakta. All right. So the story went like this, that there was a proposal from this king, Purushottama king, to the King Kanchi that he wants to get married to the daughter, the princess. Okay, so what this king did, he sent spy to go and check out this king. All right, so when the spy arrived here, so happened that the day was Radha Yatra. So guess what the spy saw? The spy saw this person by the name of Purushottama was sweeping the road. And not knowing the tradition, he reported to the King Kanchi that he is a sweeper. So King Kanchi got very, he rejected the proposal. When the news came to Purushottama Dev that the king rejected his proposal, he launched war against King Kanchi. All right, so in that war, King Purushottama lost. All right, so what he did, he went to face Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. He broke down and he cried to them that he has lost. All right, in that deal, this king actually challenged him, you, let's make a deal. If I lose, you can take my Lord Ganesh. But if you lose, I'm going to take your Lord Jagannath. So he got so sad and he went to complain to Lord Jagannath, I don't mind dying, but it is your reputation at stake here. So tell me what to do. Then Lord Jagannath said to him that this is my place. I'm not going anywhere. It's okay. You can launch. You can go ahead for the second round, and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to fight with you. All right. So the Lord assured the king that he will fight too. All right. So King Purushottama, he launched a second attack on King Kanchi. All right. So, and okay, let's move on. Okay. So what happened was, this King Purushottama, he took his troop, he went to this Kanchi, right? And then they stopped by a place where a lady was selling buttermilk, all right? So this lady stopped him and said, look, king, earlier 2 of your soldiers went in front and they took my buttermilk and they told me to take payment from you, all right? And then the king said, what are you talking about? I'm the king and all my soldiers are behind me and I have to lead them. I have to lead them because I'm the king. I didn't let any soldiers go in front of me. Then maybe you are lying to get the money from me. Then the milk lady said, the buttermilk lady said, I know this is what the 2 soldiers also said, that you will disagree when I say this. So that's why they told me to show you this ring that they gave it to me. So with this, this is an evidence that they have taken buttermilk from me and that you must give the payment to me. So if you read here, she said, sir, there were 2 of them. All right, the king will ask, if it's true that they have come, please describe me how they look like. So she will say, sir, there were 2 of them. The first general was very fair and strong and rode a black horse. The second one was dark complexion and was riding a big white horse. They were dressed in fine clothes and even their horses were decorated. Please, sir, they asked me to take my payment from you. All right. So the conversation went on like this, and she, for evidence, she will show the ring. So the ring, only Purushottama can, the King Purushottama could recognize because recently he has gifted that ring to Jagannath. So it was some say it's diamond ring, some say it's a ruby ring, but it's a ring. All right, so he recognized that ring that he has given to Lord Jagannath, and he immediately, instantly realized that the Lord has gone ahead. All right, so the white general was Lord Balaram, and the black one was Lord Jagannath. All right, so astonished with the blessing that the buttermilk girl got, her name was Manika. And later, as a payment, the king gifted her a whole village to her, and the city was named as Manika Patna. Okay, thank you. Manika Patna. All right. So now we move to the next scene where they had the war. So because the Lord fought on behalf at the side of the King Purushottama, they won. So as a result, the king captured the princess, and he also took the Lord Ganesh deity with him. So now if you if you look at, if you go or if you read up on this Lord Ganesh, Kanchi Ganesh, you will know that the Kanchi Ganesh is now residing in the Puri temple. So the Puri temple is really huge compound. So there are so many deities inside. So Lord Ganesh is residing there now. Okay, so he has taken the Lord Ganesh deity and he has also taken the princess along. Okay, so the king was still angry with the father because he rejected him thinking that he's a sweeper. So he took the princess and he said, your father rejected me because he thinks I'm a sweeper. So now you will only get married to a sweeper. When the right time comes, he will tell the minister, okay, we will get married her off to a sweeper, but when the right time comes. So one day, I mean later on, after a few months, the Radha Yatra arrives again. The festival comes again. And then he started sweeping as usual, but according to the tradition. So the minister brought the princess. You told me that she can get married to a sweeper when the time comes. So now I can't find a better sweeper than you, my lord. So I want you to marry her, like that. So the king also likes her, but it's just that the ego comes in and he got challenged and all. He didn't want to marry her, but now the situation comes in such a way that they got married after that. All right, so the princess name is Padmavati. So this is Radha Yatra. If you can see, there are 3 chariots here actually. 1, 2, 3. There's Jagannath, 1 chariot, Baladev, 1 chariot, Subhadra, 1 chariot. All right, so this is the scene. All right, so that's how they got married on Radha Yatra day. So this is just a story for you all. I hope you like it. Okay, so let's recap. So again, this is about renunciation. Acting with detachment is true renunciation and it brings freedom from reaction. So remember, the first category was summary of chapter 1 to 6 on karma section. Okay, so all right, thank you, Mataji. Okay, spiritualists always encourage the 3 purificatory practice. Can anybody remember that? Can anybody remember? What are the 3 activities? If no, we can just move on, but you have to answer the question later, all right? Okay, so the next section is Jnana section, summary of chapter 13 to 17. Okay, sacrifice, 2 more. 2 more. Charity, 1 more. Yes, very good. So Saras Mataji helped you all already. So all this everybody must get correct. Okay. Okay, the next is Jnana section. Okay, Jnana section. 5 causes of accomplishment of action. So you remember the 5 things? The last one is given here. Supreme Lord is the ultimate cause. Okay, so this one you can find in 18.14. Okay, so we have no time to wait for recap answers. I wish, we can, anybody wants to share? Yes, body. If it's fast, we can just go through this now. Body, performer. Yes. And endeavor, correct. Yes. So do we have all 4? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Very good. Very nice, fast recap. Okay. Acting under the super soul's direction, one is affected by reactions to his actions. So this one we saw, right? Akarma. Okay. Next, how the modes control all the activities. So I missed one here, the renunciation I missed. So but you remember, okay? So 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performer are explained here. So knowledge, goodness, passion, ignorance. Okay. And then we saw actions, goodness, passion, and ignorance. We had a worker, goodness, passion, and ignorance, and happiness. Okay, let me see what I can recap here. What are the 3 factors that motivate action? Remember, there is 3 factors that motivate action and 3 factors that are constituents of action. It's in 1818. What are the 3 factors? What are the factors that motivate the action? What are the factors? Those are three constituents of action. Knowledge, object of knowledge, knower. Okay. Next, the constituents of action. Okay, doer is one of it. Cari 1818. Belik buku, belik buku. Right, the work itself. Yes, after you are being motivated and inspired, you, assisted by your senses, you perform the work. So these are the, yes. Okay. All right, next, what else? Okay, knowledge, knowledge in the mode of ignorance. Can you go to knowledge in the mode of ignorance? Where is it? 22. Okay, so the knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all without knowledge of the what? Knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. So why I'm recapping this is some terms may sound very similar to you. So I want you to be very careful when you pick the answers. It may sound all correct like that, but at the time of this kind of doubt, then you want to refer to Bhagavad Gita before you tembak the question. All right, try to remember, try to relate, use the logic and the understanding, the explanation that we gain in this session before we answer, because the three modes apply to here, 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 apply here, here, here and here, so you don't want to overlap your answers. Okay, why Mataji, sudah start attempting ke? No, right, I haven't shared the quiz yet. Okay, so be very careful. Maybe you want to go through the PDF again and then you attempt it, because that way it will help you to remember this information for you to practice in life. Okay, I think that's about it. Okay, yep. So if you want to buy Srimad Bhagavatam, please contact us. Okay, that's all, Matajis. Any questions at the moment? It's sudah 9:06, so please forgive me. Hi, Louis.